Good afternoon, and welcome to NFL Former Players Kickoff Talk, brought to you by LifeLink of Georgia. We are so extremely excited today. My name is Bobby Howard, and I am the director of our Multicultural Donation Education Program for LifeLink of Georgia. I'm also a former member of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and a 27-year recipient of a life-saving kidney transplant. Today is National Football League Kickoff, where tonight we'll have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers Super Bowl champions versus the Dallas Cowboys tonight. We wanted to do something a little different today. We wanted to kick off the NFL season with the conversation about health, about organ donation and transplantation, and how it has affected former players of the NFL. So today I have two very good friends and two very special guests with us today. First of all, we have Mr. Terry LeCount. Mr. Terry LeCount, former Minnesota Viking, University of Florida graduate. Mr. Terry, how are you doing this afternoon?
I'm actually doing fantastic, Bob. It's great to be here today.
Thanks, Terry. And Terry, can you give us a little background? Why are you here with us today?
Well, in 2002, Bobby, I was able to donate my kidney to my youngest brother, Marty. And I honestly tell you that during that time, when Marty was on dialysis, I was actually living in San Francisco. So a lot of things I didn't know about being a kidney donor and didn't have the correct information about it until I actually saw it in person when I actually moved here in Atlanta. And my youngest brother came by to visit. And once he went into his car and started bringing out all the different type of equipment, that was actually the very first time I've seen that. So that surprised me, and I asked him, so this is what you're living on daily? And that's the first time I understood dialysis.
And Terry, that's great. So can you tell me, after you found that out, what was the experience like for you to be considered to become an organ donor for your brother?
Well, the experience part was thinking about making a decision to donate. And it came very quickly because spiritually I'm there. So I didn't really think that much about it. God plays a big part in all of this. And we went to go do the blood type, and it was a match right away. So I knew right then, because of the match right away, everything was going to become a little more easier. But I think what most people need to understand, we had to go through the part of the therapy part, because this is my brother, and I want him to be healthy. But once I gave up that kidney was here. It wasn't mine anymore. And so I had to go through that process of thinking about that, and also thinking about the other parts of the family. I'm living right now with one kidney, and I've been really healthy with that. So I've been pleased with that part of it.
And tell us about that decision. When you finally made that decision and everything checked out, was it a difficult decision? Was it an easy decision?
Well, I tell you what, the decision came when I sat in that boardroom, and the doctor asked me, you're going to actually do this part of donating your kidney. And the first thing went to my mind, Bobby, I'm a recovering alcoholic and addict. And I got 31 years sober and clean. And I was thinking, once they test, would my kidneys be really healthy enough for him? And the best part about it, it was positive that it was very healthy. Then I had to think about, what are you going to do when you actually do it? And are you going to be able to save your brother? So a lot of things emotionally went through with that decision. But like I said, it was an easy decision to make because it was my youngest brother.
And Terry, first of all, let me congratulate you on your 30 plus years of sobriety, and just for taking the time out and really thinking about others in their time of need. And I know it was your brother, but I think from what I'm getting from you and what I know from you, if you had that opportunity, if it was someone else, you'd have probably done the same thing as well. So I want to thank you. But now I'm going to shift to another good friend of mine, Mr. Willie Blackwell. Mr. Willie, Morris Brown graduate right here in Atlanta, played with the Washington football team, formerly of the Washington Redskins. Now they're called the Washington football team. And Willie, tell us, why are you here today? What is your story? Why are you here today?
Well, first of all, thank you guys for having me, Bobby, on the show. It's a pleasure to be here with you and Terry. What happened to me back in 1999, I was having a sharp pain in my right side. And come to find out that that pain was a kidney cancer in my left kidney. And they had to remove my left kidney in 99. And my doctor at that time, Dr. Michael Katz, was advising me that the good thing about it, you can live with one kidney. But they told me about another 15 to 20 years from now on, Willie, you're probably going to need another kidney. And his prediction was right. And my current kidney now on my right side was only operating about 15%. And you said, well, golly, why you look pretty healthy. I'm talking to you guys here and you see me. How are you able to maintain? So what I did in 99 is I went on a strict diet, and which was a lot of vegetables and exercise. And of course, me being an ordained minister, my faith in God, kind of like Terry, I was able to sustain myself. And they basically told me, they said, Willie, your kidney is operating at 17%. You got to go get ready for dialysis. He said, but we don't understand something. He said, your numbers are looking good. I mean, your GFR is good. Your blood pressure is normal. He said, although you don't need the kidney now, but you're going to need one. If not, you're going to have to go on dialysis. So they reminded me, Dr. Katz, I have to give a lot of credit to my doctor because he reminded me, because I was a little shy, guys, back then, and you said, well, you've been a minister for 35 years. How can you be shy? He reminded me, he said, you had 3 years NFL experience and you've been a football chaplain for 35 years. I see you did chapel service for the Atlanta Falcons, Cincinnati Bengals, and you've been talking to kids. So you wrote a book and you set a literacy program for a company called Dobbs International Services, and now called Gay Gourmet, and you was concerned about they wasn't treating people right, and you set up a nationwide literacy program where they can have employees to learn to read and write at the workplace, and African Americans couldn't learn how to read and write, and you set up a literacy program, and you've done all these wonderful things to help other people, Willie, and now you need a kidney, and you're not asking people for help, and I don't understand it. So he had to try to give me a boost to try to get me to know that I do need a kidney, although I'm doing pretty good right now. But what keeps me going, though, is that I stay positive because I think about the speech that my doctor gave me, the things that I accomplished, the things that has happened, people from Clark, Atlanta that come back and say, man, coach, it went for you. I wouldn't have married this lady. It went for you. I wouldn't have done this. Some of the former players that I've been with. So I'm very excited. I just believe God that I get a new kidney.
Well, that's great. Most times people don't have that opportunity like you have. So, you're a true testament and to other folks who are facing challenges of needing kidney transplants. And I see you mentioned Dr. Katz. He's my primary care physician as well. And I see someone put in the chat that Dr. Katz is their doctor too. So Dr. Katz is pretty popular in this, for the transplant for kidneys. And so I'm just so honored that, he's my doctor as well, and he's your doctor, and he's does a great job. So I kind of concur all the sentiments you have for Dr. Katz. So really tell us, what you're going through your situation and you're being a candidate for a new kidney transplant. How has that affected your life with your family, with your work? Are you still working?
Yes, and that's another conversation I had with Dr. Katz. I could, matter of fact, I took off today to be with you because, I'm still working at CarMax locally. And the reason behind it is because I thought about just staying at home at first. And then I said, if I be at home and I'm watching these soap operas, and of course I'm on the internet, and I'm, WSB TV has done a good thing with me, Fox 5, 11 Alive. I'm in all the newspapers. I'm doing interviews. The United Negro College Fund is behind me. And I'm doing all these things to get the information out. And then, when I go to bed, I don't have a kidney. But if I'm still working, I'm able to work. My numbers is good. As I interact with people every day, it gets my mind off of me. I don't have a kidney today. And I get the chance to still help people. It's fulfilling rather than being at home just sitting around looking at, doors and knobs and stuff.
Well, it's great, and like I said earlier, as we continue to go, through this whole process of life, we all have different challenges, but it seems as being former NFL players, I think sometimes the general public looks at us a little differently. We're just not football players. We contribute back in other ways to society as well. So I'm going to throw this question back to you, Terry. Terry, when you look at overall health, and once again, you mentioned about your sobriety and your 31 years of recovery, what can former NFL players do about their health, and not just former NFL players, but people in general? What can we do? What steps can we take to have a better health?
Well, all of us, have played this game, and if you look at some of our colleagues, if we want an individual that did enjoy working out, just what Willie was talking about, we do it during the season. We're playing, so we're able to do it. The key is once you're out. Once you're out, everybody's not going to be the runner, but I can honestly tell you, walking is the best thing. Everybody's not going to do and eat the vegetables that they're supposed to be doing, but vegetables is it. We as Black folks always have lived up on fried food. Don't get me wrong. Trust me, I love fried food, but I can't go to Popeye's chicken every day. I can't eat that every day. So, if you look around and listen to different restaurants and pay attention to the menu, the restaurants have food that you're supposed to eat. It's your choice if you chose not to go and eat the proper food. And exercise, everybody think you have to go and do this major run. I tell people all the time, if you get out and you see a lot of people doing it, if you're walking, stay away from the sugar and drink a lot of water. Now, I think I'm lucky enough to have the genetics of my father. I'm not bragging about this. I am pretty much about the same size I was in 1974, 78 in college because of the weight that I have. But I've always liked to kind of eat pretty healthy. And I've just been lucky enough to be able to continue to do that.
Terry, thank you. It's amazing. I first met Terry. We had a chance to coach high school football together a few years back. And that's when I first met Terry. Now, I watched him on TV when I was a little younger. And I, not really trying to say how much older you are, Terry, but it was great because I always admired that even when we were coaching football, I always looked at you and saw how you would drink your water. You would bring your little snacks. It was always fruit and vegetables. You never had the potato chips and those kind of things. So that's a great testament to share with not only former NFL players, but just people in general, is that we have to change our lifestyles and change our diet so we can have a better opportunity to take better care of ourselves. And Willie, when you look at that, I know your diet has changed a lot. And I know you've had to go through a lot of changes, a lot of struggles. What advice do you give just to people in general about their health and how people can get involved with this whole donation process?
Yeah, it's just like Terry was saying, just watch, because it starts with you. All these things start with you, and I had to take a look at myself of what I was putting into my mouth. Like he mentioned, the sugars and the fast food restaurant. It starts with you. So you say, okay, I'm responsible for my body, and this is my health, and I'm going to do the best thing I can. So it's okay to eat fried chicken maybe once a month, but like Terry was saying, you can't eat every week. Diet and exercise. You don't have to run every day. You start off walking. You walk 1 or 2 days a week, and then you build that stamina up. Reduce your stress. Stress is probably one of the biggest things that you can do. You don't have to deal with a lot of stress. Reduce the level of stress. At CarMax, I don't have to deal with a lot of stress. There's no haggling with the car sales business. If people don't like the cars, they can bring them back. There's no stress. The price is the price. Those things like that. And you want to start off with your immediate family. Looking for a kidney, the first thing that puzzles that you start with your family, and then you go with your friends, and then that circle goes out to the rest of the people. And you'd be surprised once you put that pill out there and people find out about you. God will provide the people. I can't tell you a number of people that reached out to me to try to help me with a kidney. And one lady, particularly in the early, two ladies, was a nurse that tried to help me. And the reason was that she had a health problem that she didn't know she had. It saved her life.
Mm.
She was trying to help me. She never knew me. She saw me on Fox 5. She reached out and called, and she went through all the process. When the doctors told her that, she had some kind of condition, she wasn't, and it saved her life. So I'm just saying, I'm a firm believer, God is still in charge. He will help you. He's helping me. I'm a walking miracle. I know that. But if you just do the little things like Terry was talking about, and just stay positive, you'll get through this.
Yes, and I'm a true testament to everything both of you guys have said. Is that we have to take better care of ourselves, and we have to live stress free, and that's the biggest thing. And I know myself with being 27 years out with my kidney transplant, and I've just seen my body just change from the things of when I eat properly, I feel one way. When I don't eat properly, I feel another way. So I like feeling the good way. So I have to always tell myself, Bobby, you want that, but you can't have that. You have to keep walking in. One of the greatest things I picked up since the pandemic was yoga. And when I tell you, man, it has just done miracles for me. There's things I've never been able to do with one leg that I can do now with all the yoga that I've been taking. So, it's great. And Terry, I failed to ask you, how's your brother? How's he doing?
Well, he is actually doing fantastic. He got, as I talked earlier, he got his the kidney in 2002, and it's 21. Now he's doing exactly some of the same things that Willie talked about. He went out and did the proper things of eating and exercise. That's his ritual. And once he applied himself with that, then he became a different person. He's really not on that much medication at all. And I can tell you that through the course of a year, every now and then I get that phone call. And when I get the phone call, it's on the other side, I hear somebody weeping. And he's weeping because he's telling me, thank you for giving me your kidney. Because he is so blessed. It hit him at any moment. But at least once a year, I get a phone call, and it's him on the line.
Once again, ladies and gentlemen, I am Bobby Howard. I'm here today with Mr. Terry LeCount, former member of the Minnesota Vikings in the NFL, and Mr. Willie Blackwell of the Washington football team, formerly known as the Washington Redskins. We are here today with a kickoff talk about organ and tissue donation and how you can get involved. Just sharing some stories and talking true facts of what the three of us has been through with organ donation and transplantation. And, we continue to strive. And, one of the reasons when I first reached out to both of these gentlemen, they didn't hesitate. They said yes. And I want to tell everyone, we had a third member that was going to be with us, but I am so happy and proud to announce he's not with us, Mr. Lionel Dalton, because he received a kidney transplant a little over a week ago. So we are so excited. And you see the power of talking. When you talk about something a lot and you're involved, great things happen. So we are so praying for Mr. Lionel Dalton. Mr. Dalton was a former member of the Baltimore Ravens, played defensive tackle there. Great young man, and we're just so proud that he received this kidney transplant. So that's why he's not with us today. And I told him, I said, now you have a great excuse to miss. If you'd have told me something else, I'd have been on you a little bit, but he had a great excuse not to be with us today. So we're so excited about him, and we're really excited, once again, that we're bringing this to you. Just straight talk, nothing, no statistics, just straight talk about why is organ donation and transplantation so important. One question I want to throw out here to the both of you, and either one of you can go first. What can we do in the African-American community as far as becoming more knowledgeable about the whole process of donation and transplantation? And how can we open up doors for more African Americans to take better care of themselves?
Well, right now, Bobby, I'm at work at the College Football Hall of Fame. So what I do with the employees, probably once a month, I have a conversation. We got a lot of new employees. We got people that's in the community. And I'm always talking about it because for me, I never knew anything about it until it happened to a family member. And so I tried to explain to him right now, on my driver's license, I have donor. So the day that I leave this earth, I want them to take my organs and save someone else. So what I've been trying to do is talk about it, talk about it. And it's in the community. I mean, we can talk about the different types of the diabetes that most of our African Americans have. It's due to not being healthy, not eating right, and you got to kind of change some of those habits. But we have to get into community to express the importance of taking care of your health. Once you take care of the health, then some of these underlying issues that we're having right now, we probably will not have. Willie talked about earlier that if people understood what stress is, if they really understood what stress, I talk about the program. I always say to myself, if something comes at me, the first thing I do, I talk about the serenity prayer. And I repeat it. And I say, God, grant me serenity to accept the things I cannot change. To accept the things I cannot change. I read it twice, or 3 times, or 4 times, so I can actually hear myself, so I can get out of the way of that bumper car, because it's out of my control. Stress plays a big part in how we live.
Thanks. Willie, you got any thoughts about that? What can we do differently?
So, of course, my favorite team, Washington Football Club, they're going to do great things this year. And hopefully I can get up there and do some chapel service for them. And then also over at Clark, Atlanta. So with this COVID thing, we kind of slowed things down. But hopefully I can get around the league, because I do a lot of chapel service throughout the NFL league. And I'm going to be stressing that. And also in the high schools and in the Atlanta community in the high schools. Frederick Douglass High School, which I was chaplain over there for many years as well. And of course, the Cincinnati Bengals, I've done some chapel service. So I do a lot of speaking within high schools here in the Atlanta area, NFL, and of course now with my son being at Boston College, I talked to the coach up there. I'm gonna go up there and do some devotional service. Boy, everywhere I get an opportunity, I'm going to mention, like you said, the first with the driver's license. I mean, that's a gimme. And then I just go back with your basic diet, and I tell people, there's 4 stages of this thing, kidney disease, 1, 2, 3, 4. How we got people now at stage 1, and they don't even know they have kidney disease. They don't even know it because they don't feel anything. And so I'm at stage 4, and you look at me, you say you look well, but then I have some good days and I have some bad days. And I'll tell you, you don't want this. You want to start off right. So anytime I get an opportunity to speak, my regular stuff that I do, I'm always incorporating about kidney donation, particularly among African Americans, also Asian Americans and Spanish Americans, but more frequently African Americans, because we're the one impacted by this more than anybody.
And you're absolutely right, Willie. Doing the work that I do here at LifeLink, I'm always looking at statistics and getting phone calls from people I don't know and asking, what can they do? And it's challenging. It's a daunting task. And I always ask when I do these kind of events, and I, meet 2 gentlemen like yourselves, and, we go way back with I go way back with both of you guys, being members of the NFLPA Atlanta chapter here. It's one of the things that we really try to stress. And I know when I was president, when you go talk about diet, I'm going to go back to that. One of the things I wanted to do was change the type of foods I brought in that we could have. And I was able to do that. And I got so many good comments from a lot of the guys saying, Bobby, thank you, for providing a different type of meal. And I said, well, I can't give you something that I'm not going to eat. So if I'm going to eat it, then I think it's good for all of us. And so, and that's a start. We have to start somewhere. And, the 3 of us, we're doing that. And hopefully by having this opportunity this afternoon that we can share this information. I know we sent this out to a lot of people, and I know I'm reading some of the comments, and I'm just so thankful that we have so many people who are on this comment and commenting, saying how important life is. We have donors, we have recipients, we have family members connecting. It's a great opportunity, and what a great way, to really talk about a subject that is near and dear to the 3 of us, but it's so many people that are affected and they just don't know. So, as we continue on and go through this, Now, but before we go, because I know I promised you guys, and we didn't want to make this long. We wanted to hit it, get to the point, and get our message out there. So, Terry, before we go and before we open it up to any questions, what lasting message could you give to anyone out there who's thinking about becoming an organ, eye, and tissue donor?
Well, you got to think about whether you want to do that or not. I think it's a tough decision. I'm glad you asked that question, because I remember my brother constantly talking to me about when I made a decision for him. He couldn't understand why the people that he was in the hospital with, family members, weren't coming by to get tested, and that really bothered him. And everybody's not going to be able to do that, But for a family that needs, an organ donor, there's so many individuals out there, Bobby and Willie, that actually need it, and a lot of people don't know that they really need it. Just put your blessing in God, and if it's something that you think you really want to do, then, like I was telling you guys earlier, go to that driver's license, put it on your driver's license, and the day that you leave the earth, you're leaving the earth, but also you're making somebody else a person that's going to be able to live later.
Thanks, Terry. Those are some great words. Willie, I know you're waiting, and I know that, I tell everyone, every time you have something posted or you're on a television or radio, people are always saying to me, Bobby, do you know Willie? Do you know him? How can we help? How can we help? What would be your lasting message that you can give to folks to really consider becoming organ and tissue donors?
Well, I tell you, it's like Terry was saying, when that young lady called me and told me that she wanted to help me, and she said, I saw your wife talking about you, and I saw some of the things that you had done. I did some background on you, and she said, you seem to be a pretty good human being. I said, well, she said, I never met you, Willie. I know, but you seem to help a lot of people. You've been an ordained minister for 35 years, and I see you don't get paid for that. And I said, she said you've done chapel service on the college level, in the high school, and NFL. So she said, you helped a lot of people, and I want to help you. And I said, well, man, why do you want to help me, though? She said, I want to help you for the reason I just mentioned, because it's the right thing to do. She said, I got an opportunity to help somebody to continue to do what they're doing. And she said, God got you here for a reason. And I got an opportunity to help you continue doing what you're doing. And when you see someone like that, just go ahead and do it. God's going to bless you for it. You just want somebody who's healthy, and you want somebody that's able to do it. And there's no cost. The insurance company is going to take care of all of that. You don't have to worry about that. The way we do it now with the transplant is, it's not invasive like it was 20 years ago, so just do it.
Well, thank you, Willie. And just as a reminder, if you're on this today and you have not registered to become an organ donor, you're really strongly consider it, please visit our website, which is www.lifelinkfoundation.org. to register there. And if you're not in the Georgia area and you would still like to register, you can always go to registerme.org, and that's registerme.org. Now I'm going to take the time and ask our behind-the-scenes person, Ms. Tracy Ide, who's also one of my colleagues here at LifeLink. Can we open it up for any questions? Well, I'm got to just message we don't have any questions. I want to take the time to not take up everyone's lunch hour to thank each and every one of you for joining us this afternoon for the Let's Talk with former NFL players, Mr. Willie Blackwell, Mr. Terry LeCount. Let me thank both of you from the bottom of my heart on behalf of LifeLink of Georgia. We really appreciate your time and efforts that you've given today, and we hope that the message you gave today will hopefully inspire others to become organ, tissue, and eye donors. In my closing remarks, I'm just so thankful that I know Terry and Willie. They're both great gentlemen. I hope and pray that Willie will get his transplant very soon, the same way that Mr. Lionel Dalton got his. And Terry, I just can't thank you enough for just being the man that you are, donating to your brother. And I just want to say in my closing words that I always say, if we stand by and do absolutely nothing, 0 lives will be saved. Please consider becoming an organ and tissue donor, because the life that you save today could be the life to save your loved one tomorrow. Once again, I'm Bobby Howard, Director of the Multicultural Donation Education Program of LifeLink of Georgia. I thank you. Have a great day.